There's a new line of local high-tech businesses in Peoria at the city's new medical device incubator, Bioinspire. Here with me in the studio are the people behind the scenes at Bioinspire. Scott White, Peoria's Economic Development Services Director, Marianne Guerra, CEO of BioXcel, Sharon Harper, President of the Plaza Companies, and Tom Rainey, the new Executive Director of Bioinspire. Tom, I'd like to start with you. What is Bioinspire?
Well, as you mentioned, it's a business incubator to help startup companies get developed here in Peoria. And what's really unique about this business incubator, unlike hundreds of other incubators around the country, is a real focus on medical device businesses. So what we try to do is create synergies around companies that are commercializing medical device technologies and surround them with the right mix of resources.
Thank you. And Scott, you're the city's Economic Development Services Director. Where did this ambitious idea come from?
Actually, the idea for a medical device incubator started out of our process of developing an economic development strategy for the city going forward. One of the objectives of our strategy was to grow high-tech, bioscience-related jobs and industries so that we could create clusters of those businesses, create high-paying jobs with high educational level attainment prospects so that we could diversify our economy. One of the lessons learned out of the recent economic downturn is that Peoria does not currently have a diversified economy and the extreme importance of having one going forward. So we really sought to grow our economy and diversify our economy in a way that leans towards high technology in the biosciences. So as we looked at what is our role in that bioscience field, we quickly focused in on medical device. And so that's really where this whole idea started. And then we looked for our partnerships with BioXcel and with the Plaza Companies.
As CEO of BioXcel, Marianne, what is your company's role in Bioinspire?
Well, we were lucky enough to partner with the City of Peoria very early on when they started talking about trying to establish an incubator. And BioXcel is formed and was formed to identify late-stage research, take that, turn it into qualified pipeline, and also create and seed new companies in the bioscience area. So it was a marriage made in heaven between the City of Peoria and BioXcel. So our role is to just take our companies, put them in the incubator, help do the diligence, and look for a qualified pipeline so that we go hand in hand with identifying companies, doing the diligence, and then having a beautiful facility now to locate our companies.
Great, which takes me to Sharon. You're president of the Plaza Companies. What role does the Plaza play in Bioinspire?
Plaza Companies is celebrating its 30th year here in Peoria. Our corporate headquarters are here, and we've developed the Plaza del Rio campus, which is a highly regarded and well-known medical and senior housing campus. There are several hundred physicians who have offices on the campus, and so as the City of Peoria and the economic development leadership began to evaluate what kinds of industries would be great in Peoria, they looked at assets that were already in place. And the Plaza del Rio campus and that group of healthcare professionals and seniors and the reputation that that carried became a perfect location to talk about a place where medical device could really thrive and benefit from the reputation already in place. So as it turned out, one of the buildings on the Plaza campus is now where Bioinspire is located.
Thank you. And Scott, I can't help but wonder, why medical devices?
Well, when we evaluated the full spectrum of the bioscience field, which is quite broad, that would be appropriate for the City of Peoria to invest in, we didn't want to replicate efforts that were occurring elsewhere in the valley and the state. We wanted to be able to capture a market that was unique and that didn't offer competition. And nor did we want to duplicate what was already being done. And we also wanted to focus in on the types of companies that would have a quicker pathway through the FDA regulatory pathway. So when we analyzed all of those inputs, we felt that medical device made a lot of sense. It's a growth industry for the future. It has a shorter regulatory pathway, which means quicker commercialization and quicker business development. So that's why we really focused in on medical device.
Smart. Very interesting. And what's the city hoping to achieve with the incubator?
At the end of the day, the incubator objective is to graduate qualified, thriving businesses, medical device businesses that then can, out of the incubator, absorb existing space, grow in the city, and by placing multiple companies in the city to start to grow a medical device cluster of industry that can then grow, that gives us the opportunity to attract supply chain manufacturers, other medical device, other bioscience companies. But you have to start with a footprint. You have to have a critical mass of business in an industry type that you then can start to grow and then be viewed nationally, internationally, hopefully, as a place to do business for that type of industry. That's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish. And of course, the high-paying jobs that come with it for our Peoria residents.
Great. And Tom, who are the first tenants at Bioinspire?
Well, we're really blessed with 6 companies that have come after a national search and putting out the word really internationally. We had companies as far away as Canada and Ireland applying to get into the program and to receive both space and funding. So we were very fortunate to have so many qualified applicants. But after a very rigorous down select process, very careful due diligence on these companies, we were able to select 6 companies to go into the incubator. And so it's kind of a mixed bag of companies. We have one company that's a rather low-tech company, and they're actually developing a garment for patients who've gone through knee surgeries. And it's a garment that is it's a specialty product that helps with modesty issues with the gowns that are traditionally worn in hospitals after the surgery procedure. They've actually created a pant that you can put on that allows doctors to access parts of the leg that allow them more modesty. So that's kind of on the lower tech end of the spectrum. But we have another company, for example, that's doing an implant that actually goes into the spinal column and manages pain. So that's a very high-tech product. It's going to take a longer lead time to get through the FDA approval process, but very, very promising when it does pay off. So those are 2 examples. We have another company called Nacio that is developing a proprietary dental implant, a very high-tech implant for patients who traditionally have a high failure rate with dental implants. So smokers and diabetics, for example. Very exciting new company. And I might add, they're actually moving in from San Diego. So just to give you an idea of how we're able to recruit people from other parts of the country who wanted to come here and be part of this. We have another company called Yolia Health, and they're developing a new proprietary vision correction technology. And it's essentially a hard contact lens that you put in with proprietary drops, and they alleviate the need for reading glasses. So if you do this procedure for 7 days, take them out, and then you don't need reading glasses for 6 months, and then you reapply. And so it's an exciting new technology. It actually came from Mexico. So we're commercializing a Mexican technology, and just very, very exciting. So we're just really thrilled to have so many really high quality companies in the mix.
Yeah, that is exciting. And Marianne, what's the advantage for them to be in Bioinspire?
Well, the value of creating an incubator facility. So when BioExcel would identify companies and like we conducted the national search and you narrow it down, then where do you put the companies? Okay, so it was nice that we have a facility now that combined with the selection of focusing on devices, we can do a more qualified search for the right companies. We can put them in the incubator and then surround them by the right type of technical advisors. For example, once we focused on medical devices and we did the recruitment, we then have set up a national advisory council. And that advisory council, when we recruited, we were able to get representatives from Medtronic and Covidien, which are international organizations that are focused on medical devices. We were able to bring in a venture capitalist out of Boston to participate in it. We've got local advisors that we brought to it. So having this incubator facility having the resources that Peoria is providing in terms of the facility, but providing BioExcel with funds to develop this pipeline and to seed these companies, allows us to have, and having the focus on medical devices, really provides this incredible synergy and excitement. And so when we started the recruitment, and the companies, two of the companies came out of San Diego, actually, Nacio and Yolia. And so why would they come here? Well, they came because of the advisory council they could get access to, the network, the resources. It was pretty exciting. And so by having the facility, it's just a beautiful recruitment tool, and it's also great for the city because you can get them in one place, and as Scott said, we can grow them, but then we can move them into the community. And they get to know the community, they get the support of the community, and then we hopefully recruit the next round and put them in the facility and start to build and build and compound and compound. So the facility, I think, is really an anchor facility, and having it at the Plaza Del Rio is really great because we can now start to surround them by other companies, or they can move out and be located there as well. And so you just start, you've got that anchor that allows you to build and grow a device community into an industry sector. So we're really excited about the facility. We're really excited about the location of the facility around. In fact, was it Yolia? One of the reasons they came is the optometrist is located here in Peoria, very close by the new incubator. And so he was all excited to be able to move the company and have his offices here rather than flying to San Diego. So it really is pretty exciting, and it's like a magnet. It's a magnet that starts to attract things because it's like a focused magnet, a targeted magnet. So we're really excited about it, and I think in a very short amount of time, in August June we started the recruitment of the companies, and they're moving in. We're moving in December.
Great. And this question's for everyone. Simply, what happens next? Would you like to start?
Well, the leadership that really led this program is paying off quite quickly. To think that there are 6 companies already located in Peoria is just outstanding. Secondly, it's created a synergy and an excitement about this industry and the jobs that can get created. Thirdly, for those people that live in the community or want to live in the community, this is creating a source for high-paying jobs, interesting jobs, and it helps to build the viability of the commercial office investments in the city, the housing investments in the city. It supports the schools, and it really is important for the community all the way around. So I think it's paying off early, and it has the opportunity to be very dramatic for our greater region.
Great. And Tom?
Well, as a community resource, one of our big goals is connecting the dots with other organizations that we can collaborate with. And as Scott mentioned, our goal is not to duplicate other resources that are out there, but really co-op with them and find ways to collaborate. So working closely with the universities, research institutions in the area that could be feeders into the initiative, and developing programs and workshops and seminars and things to help educate new entrepreneurs to get them started. So really creating that synergy that we've been talking about, and that sort of mosaic of activities, recruiting more investors into the program, and eventually growing the program to another phase development.
Great, thank you. Mary Ann?
Well, again, because of the device focus, we can start to build on that. And what we've been able to do is the way we've designed the contractual relationships with the companies, there's a requirement that they stay in the city. So we know that they're not going to be going anywhere. They're going to move out of the incubator, and they're going to stay in the city. And we also have limited the time that they can stay in the incubator, so we know they're going to be moving out and more are going to come in. So we absolutely know that they're going to grow and hopefully set the foundation for other ideas that Scott has to grow the economic development in the area. The other thing that it's led to is BioExcel hopefully is going to be launching this month. I know we're going to be launching it. It's called a BioAccelerator Fund. And it is going to be an independent fund that will fund companies that are located either at Bioinspire or one of our portfolio companies. And so it will help those companies become sustainable. Now again, this is a compounding that's going to allow a new funding opportunity. It's going to help the companies there to advance and be stabilized and funded and want to stay in the community because, again, they have the incubator, they have the technical resources, and now they'll have this external fund that will be available to help them as well, as long as they can compete for those funds. So I think that you're going to see that a lot of exciting ideas will start to build around it. We've talked to Thunderbird about possible internships. We've talked to ASU and U of A, I mean, in the new universities that are coming in here and being located. So I think this is just the start. As Sharon said, this is, kind of like we've planted the seed, and I think it's already started to blossom, but I think in the next 2 or 3 years, you're really going to see a lot of energy and excitement coming out of this in many different ways, not just medical device companies, other companies, housing, jobs, other things. So we're excited about it.
Thank you. Scott, what's next?
Well, the simplest expression of what we're trying to accomplish here is the ability through the incubator for early stage technology, new technology, ideas coming out of university, to put them into a structured program, a first-class facility with access to high-class council of advisors, and to grow that technology through commercialization, to start businesses, to grow businesses, and to create jobs in an industry sector that is the growth potential for the future. That was the first expression of the city of Peoria's desire to grow its innovation economy. And as you've heard today, we have reached nationally and internationally in just 8 months in terms of the types of business interests that we've been able to gather. We want to continue that momentum. We've continued that momentum in the form of some of the universities that we have attracted to the city that have strength in science, technology, engineering, and math that are a great fit into what the incubator has to offer. But we also want to take it to the next level because you got to keep momentum going. So we are having early stage conversations with our partners, Plaza, Bioinspire, Executive Director Tom, and then also BioSL, as to how we might be able to formulate a program for a Peoria Innovation Center and work with all of our partnerships, including the universities, to make Peoria a center for innovation and how to translate innovation into commercialization. That's what we hope to be able to accomplish in the next 12 to 24 months.
I'd like to thank all of my guests for telling us more about Bioinspire and its importance in our city.